I'm going to walk you through exactly how I plan a full week of social media content for all platforms in 30 minutes. So this sounds crazy, but I plan out my full social media content in literally just 30 minutes each week. And Instagram from this is just 10 minutes of that. And I'm going to be walking you through that one specifically. So I post a lot of content. When I say 30 minutes for planning content, this is what I actually mean. I post typically 5 times a week on Instagram to the feed. I post 7 times on YouTube. I post once to my email list every single week, and that is just the baseline minimum. There'll be weeks where I'll do shorts on YouTube. There'll be weeks where I do extra posts on Instagram, where I send multiple emails to my email list. So this is the baseline minimum. It really just does not go below this every single week. And surprisingly, this does not take me long to put together. It is really quick. It takes me half an hour for just all of this, literally putting all of that together. And also the planning is what makes it really easy to then create this so efficiently and make it really, really manageable for me to create such a large quantity of content every single week. So I'm going to be walking through the process I use specifically for Instagram, and this takes me 10 minutes. This is just 10 minutes every single week to fully plan out all my Instagram content so I know exactly what I am putting out there. And this does not look like this. This is probably what it can feel like sometimes in terms of content when we're really putting so many pieces together and we have to bridge all these gaps together and it just takes so long and the planning gets so complicated. We are not about that vibe here. We're about simple. We're about ease within business. So I'm going to be walking you through my process, and it's really simple, really easy for how I specifically plan Instagram content. I use the same kind of process for the other platforms as well. I can do specific videos on those, so let me know in the comments if you would like that, but I'll be walking through my Instagram process specifically. So the first step I have, step 1, I have specific content types and I have templates for each of those. So I know exactly what format I'm posting within. I have templates that I reuse for all of my posts, and pretty much every single post falls within one of these templates. For me, that looks like the list you can see here, which I also have below so you can see those in visual formats. And I will always use one of these formats. Unless I'm feeling really wild and just wanting to create something completely different, I will always pick one of these formats. So I have the value reels over here. I have the tweet style ones here. I have client spotlights. I have the headline highlighted text here, which is good for a carousel. I have the quote photos with a little quote in the corner. And then I finally have the notes page text. I will always use one of these. These are my templates. I save them so I can just reuse them every time. So all I need to do if I'm wanting to do a new client spotlight this week, for example, is to literally just change the text. The design is already done. Don't even need to think about it at all. So I'll always use one of these formats, and I'll start, the very first thing I do when I'm planning out my content is I'll start with choosing which 5 I'm using for that week, just based on what I've recently used in the feed, what I'm kind of already thinking about, if I already have any ideas, and I'll just pick 5 and say, okay, these are the 5 which I'm going to be doing this week. Here's going to be the order. This is going to be Monday. This is going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and just pick those out just so I know what I'm working with. Essentially, what are the designs we're fitting these ideas into. The second step is I will take those 5 types of posts and I'll input the ideas into there of what I'm actually going to be writing about in those posts. What am I going to be talking about? This is why I also save so much time. I constantly have a running ideas list. And this is something I recommend so much. Just keep an ideas list in your notes app on your phone, in any other just software that you use, and just write down any ideas as they're coming. And I always have ideas in this list. I always just make sure I'm jotting anything down as soon as anything comes to my mind. So I can just pick from this list and then just populate those posts with the initial ideas. So I'll go through them and say, okay, my idea is I'm going to do this specific client spotlight because I found out this last week and it was really exciting. I'm going to talk about how to create consistent high cash months because I've had those for the last few weeks, etc. I'm really just populating those posts then with those ideas and kind of matching those up essentially of what am I going to be talking about in each. I'm obviously updating this throughout the week, as I said, with any ideas that come to me, and it's really easy then to actually put these ideas into the post and also create this content because I'm really separating my decision and execution time. I'm spending a different block of time throughout the week actually deciding what posts I want to create, actually coming up with those ideas, noting them down in that document, and then it's a separate block of time when I'm executing on that, when I'm actually taking the action, when I'm actually matching them up and saying, right, this is going to be out on Monday, this is going to be out on Tuesday. They require very different parts of your brain. They require very different thinking modes, as you know, if you're in business. So really just separating that decision and execution time is so gold, especially when it comes to content creation and making the decision on what posts posts we're going to be doing at a separate time to when we're actually creating the post is absolutely gold there for just saving a lot of time and energy. And then the third part I'll do in terms of my process for planning all this content is I'll add in the hook. So this is the first line. What is the part that we're leading into essentially? What is the, catching point of this post essentially? And saving so much time, again, I will already have added this into my ideas document. So that ideas document, which I have back here, I already make sure that whenever I note down an idea, I think just on the spot while it's really fresh in my mind, okay, what could be a hook for this? And I'll write down the hook just below that. So then I can just pull from this list the hook and the idea and put those in ready to go. This makes writing the post as well when I actually come to that so much easier because I literally already have that first line. I'm not starting with a blank document thinking, what do I want to say? I've got the first line and then I just lead into it from there and makes it so easy. So all of that typically takes me just 10 minutes. And from there, I've got the full plan. I know exactly what it's going to look like. I know exactly what 5 areas I'm going to be talking about. I know what those ideas are. And I've got the first line ready to go as well. So it really just comes down to then going into the designs, adding in the text to actually create it, and then just writing out those posts as well, which makes it so simple. And this takes me just 10 minutes to fully plan a full week of Instagram posts, 5 posts for the week, and I'm all set and ready to create them as well, being in the most efficient way possible because of the things that I have set out through this planning process. So highly recommend giving this a go. It saves me so much time in terms of creating social media content and just making it really easy as well to actually create the best possible quality content while still putting out a high quantity as well. Let me know your takeaways in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video tomorrow.